Welcome to today's explainer. Okay, let's just jump right in. Imagine you've just touched down in this bustling, vibrant Portuguese-speaking city. Maybe it's São Paulo, or maybe it's Lisbon. The energy is absolutely incredible. But then, suddenly you realize you need to navigate the entire day using only the local language. Well, today we're taking our source materials, including language manuals and survival phrasebooks, and turning them into a highly practical survival guide for you. We're going to walk through a single day in the life of a traveler, from your very first morning greeting all the way to paying the bill at dinner.
But first, let's set the scene with a situation literally every traveler has faced at some point. You step off the plane, you wander a few blocks, and bam, this thought hits you. Estou perdido. Y agora? I'm lost. What now? It's a moment of sheer panic, right? But don't worry, because today's explainer is designed to equip you with the exact phrases, the pronunciation, and the grammar you need to not just survive that moment, but to actually thrive and connect with the locals.
So, here's our itinerary for today. First, saudações e pronúncia essencial. Second, onde fica, pedindo direções. Third, em movimento, o verbo ir. And finally, diálogos práticos em restaurantes.
Starting right off with Section 1, Saudações e Pronúncia Essencial, Greetings and Essential Pronunciation. Okay, so notice the clear cultural split here between formal and informal interactions. This comes straight from the Portas Abertas textbook for immigrants. Basically, if you're at a hospital, speaking to the federal police, or addressing someone older, you absolutely stick to the formal. Bom dia for good morning, boa tarde for good afternoon, and como está for how are you. But if you're greeting new friends or just walking into a super casual cafe, you drop all that formality. You can use oi, e aí, tudo bem, or even the very Brazilian beleza, which literally translates to beauty but actually just means all good. Matching the tone to your environment is really your very first step to sounding like a local.
And, speaking of sounding like a local, let's talk about a crucial phonetic detail from our source materials, the pronunciation of the vowel E. In Portuguese, this vowel can be open or closed, and getting this right is huge. It makes your pronunciation sound incredibly natural. An open E sounds bright and wide, like in sério, atlético, or relógio. But a closed E is tighter, it's shorter, like in você, senhor, or prazer. Really pay attention to these subtle differences when you speak. It's basically the secret sauce to being easily understood out there.
Now, to elegantly wrap up your morning introductions before you hit the streets, you absolutely need this culturally essential phrase. Foi prazer conhecer você. It was a pleasure to meet you. And hey, notice that closed E we just talked about in prazer and você? It's polite, it's warm, and it honestly leaves a fantastic lasting impression as you move on with your day. Which brings us to Section 2, Onde fica? Pedindo direções. Where is it? Asking for directions.
So you've asked someone for help, but the crucial part is actually understanding their answer when they point you in the right direction. Let's break down these fundamental vocabulary words from the phrasebook so you can mentally map out your route. If they say à direita, you're turning right. À esquerda, you're taking a left. If you hear sempre in French, just keep walking straight ahead. They might also give you some landmarks, using ao lado de, meaning next to, or atrás de, meaning behind. Try to visualize these directions. They are literally the building blocks of city navigation.
Actually, I want you to practice this with me right now. Imagine you are standing on a sunny sidewalk. Say it out loud. Pode dizer-me, por favor, qual é o melhor caminho para a praia? This means, can you tell me, please, which is the best way to the beach? It's incredibly polite because of that por favor, and it specifically asks for the best route, which often prompts the locals to give you a safer or maybe a much more scenic path.
Moving right along to Section 3, em movimento, o verbo ir, on the move, the verb to go.
This brilliantly illustrates just how simple Portuguese navigation can be once you know the basics. Here's the conjugation of the verb ir. Eu vou, I go. Você vai, you go. Ele or ela vai, he or she goes. Nós vamos, we go. Vocês vão, you all go. The beauty of this verb is how effortlessly you can use it to navigate. You can state your destination. Eu vou para o trabalho. I am going to work. Or you can use it to ask for directions right on the street, like como eu vou para o centro? How do I go downtown? Master the single verb, and you basically unlock the entire city.
Let's connect that grammar to a real-world scenario. You're heading to the subway. To find it, you simply ask, onde é a estação? Where's the station? Once you're there, you'll just scan your card at a turnstile. Public transit is often the absolute lifeblood of these cities, and knowing how to navigate it is totally essential.
But wait, here is a vital transit term from our Portas Abertas source material that you absolutely must know, baldeação. It means the act of transferring or changing lines on the subway or the train system. So if you ask for directions and the attendant says, "Você tem que fazer baldeação," you know exactly what to do. You aren't taking a direct train, you need to switch lines to reach your destination.
Sometimes, though, the metro just doesn't reach your final destination. In that case, locals might point you to the street and tell you, "Tens de apanhar o autocarro." You have to take the bus. Knowing these alternative transit phrases ensures you never get stranded, no matter where your day ends up taking you.
And finally, Section 4, Diálogos prácticos en restaurantes, practical dialogues in restaurants.
Okay, now we transition to the absolute best part of any traveler's day. The sun is setting, you've navigated the city successfully, and you've arrived at this highly recommended local restaurant. It is time for a well-deserved meal. Here is your chronological cheat sheet for dining out smoothly. Step 1, you sit down and say, "Traga-me a emenda," please bring me the menu. Step 2, engage the waiter to find the best local food by asking, "O que me recomenda?" What do you recommend? Step 3, when you're ready, confidently order the special by saying, "Queria o prato do dia," I would like the dish of the day. And finally, Step 4, when you are completely full and happy, wrap the whole thing up with, "A conta, por favor," the bill, please. Memorize these 4 exact phrases, and I guarantee a polite and seamless dining experience.
Now, what if you have specific dietary preferences? Our source phrasebooks make sure you are completely empowered to advocate for yourself. You can ask, "Tem algo vegetariano ou vegan?" Do you have anything vegetarian or vegan? To be crystal clear, you can state, "Non como carne ou peixe." I don't eat meat or fish. Or if you prefer natural sourcing, ask, "É orgânico?" Is it organic? Seriously, never be afraid to ask these questions. Hospitality is a massive part of the culture.
As you finalize the transaction, there are 2 key phrases to contrast here. You've asked for a conta, the bill. Now you should check, "O serviço está incluído," is the service included? If it isn't and you want to leave a gorjeta, a tip for excellent service, you can hand over your cash and generously say, "Fica com o troco," keep the change. It's really the perfect, classy end to your meal.
So from mastering your morning greetings to navigating the metro and finally ordering the dish of the day, you now have a comprehensive, structured survival guide. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. Qual vai ser o seu primeiro pedido em português na sua próxima viagem? What will be your first Portuguese order on your very next trip? Keep these phrases handy, practice those vowel sounds we talked about, and embrace the journey. Thank you so much for joining me for today's explainer.